This week's Find God was going to be about Star Wars Celebration because this weekend is when Star Wars Celebration was supposed to be in Anaheim, and just was going to reminisce a little bit about last year's because that's kind of how, part of how fangirling over Jesus got started. But was watching Spider-Man Far From Home and got a text from my friend Stephanie about Chadwick Boseman dying at 42, 43 from colon cancer. He'd been diagnosed 4 years ago in 2016 at stage 3, and it had progressed, of course, to stage 4. And immediately when I read that, just started, Googling. I thought I couldn't believe it. I mean, Stephanie, I love you, and you're a credible source, but I couldn't believe it, and I think a lot of us couldn't believe it because, y'all, 2020 has kicked us in the collective rear between, COVID and racial injustice and awful things going on politically. So many people dying, not just Chadwick, but I think when we watch superhero movies and Star Wars and, when we watch our favorite fandoms, we see ourselves in these characters and we see what we'd like to be. We see the qualities that we'd like to hold in these characters. And I loved Black Panther. I enjoyed that film so much for all that it represented. I thought that he was such a graceful actor and man playing that role. He was kind of, in the same way that Anthony Mackie is the Falcon, or, Chris Evans is Cap, or Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, or Scarlett Johansson is the Black Widow. He just felt like he embodied T'Challa. He felt larger than life. It's really hard because I don't even know how to say it. As much as we want the superheroes to win in this world the way they do in, our favorite Marvel or DC or, Harry Potter or whatever movies, we live in a broken world. And I don't want this to sound like I'm oversimplifying, because believe me, I'm not. I'm crying as I'm doing this. But I felt like it was important because I think cross-culturally, cross-fandom, we're all mourning the loss, I believe, of Chadwick, as we are mourning our own friends and family that we know, whether it's dying from COVID-related illness or other cancers or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or car accidents or shootings. This has been a year of grief, and it's hard and it sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you, it sucks. These are the moments where, despite how sad we feel, and it's very much okay to be sad, it's where I'm grateful for Jesus, because I do know that this is a broken world that is filled with some really amazing things because God created it, but it's also broken by sin. But someday Jesus is going to return and everything that's broken will be made new. Tears will be wiped away. Disease will be wiped away. Death will be wiped away. I've heard that Chadwick was a believer, and I really pray that that's true. I think that's awesome. For those of us that are believers, I believe we'll see him again. I know that may not bring much comfort right now, but I pray that it does as we move forward in this. I just want all of you out there to know that we are grieving together. We are grieving his death together because he seemed larger than life and he seemed like a superhero in his own right. And frankly, he was, to be battling colon cancer and chemo and surgeries and still filming these amazing movies. We're grieving him, we're grieving others, we're grieving situations, we're grieving injustices. These will be made new, but right now we are here. And I honestly want to say a short prayer and then I'll be done and we'll keep going. But guys, you are not alone. We are all here with each other, standing together, even though we may be quarantined in our offices or apartments or houses or wherever. We are standing together. We are grieving together. We are praying together. Just really quick, Lord, thank you for fandom. But God, most of all, thank you for Jesus. Thank you for the things that you have allowed us to create from our minds, things like superheroes like Black Panther, things like Harry Potter, things like Star Wars, things like Doctor Who. God, thank you for these things that bind those of us who are extreme fans together. God, thank you for sending your son Jesus to us to live and die for us, so that those who believe might live in him. God, I pray that Chad was a believer and that we will see him again someday when you return. But God, I pray that you would be with his family and his friends, comfort them, comfort his fans. God, he stood for so much in so many communities, cultures, countries. I pray for everyone that we've lost this year, from whatever the cause might be. God, this has been a year that has truly tested humanity, and it's been really difficult. And we keep on and we keep the faith. But God, I pray that you would strengthen us, keep us moving forward, keep our eyes on you, keep our hearts on you, that we would be there to hold each other up, encourage one another, that we would use the spirit of love that you've given us to love one another well and to love you well. God, I pray these things and so many more unsaid things, Lord. Pray this in your name. Amen. Love you guys. Be well. If you need any prayer for anything, please give me a shout. Would love to pray for you too.